The final strategy in this module covers the skills of logical consequences and removal of privileges.
Let's review the key concepts for effective strategies for addressing misbehavior. Sometimes misbehavior cannot be prevented and must be directly addressed. Behavior change can happen when parents consistently and effectively manage misbehavior over time.
There may be times when consequences other than timeout may be needed or may make sense for you and your child. This video will teach you two other strategies: logical consequences and removal of privileges. One situation when you may need an alternative consequence might be when your child refuses to stay in timeout. Logical consequences. Logical consequences following a misbehavior are imposed or presented by their parent, but are related to the misbehavior. In some situations, you may feel a logical consequence is the best strategy for a misbehavior that you have decided does not automatically lead to timeout. For example, if you do not have a family rule about following directions that would automatically result in a timeout, and you give a direction for your child to put his or her toy away, and your child continues playing with a toy, a logical consequence may be to take the toy away. It is important to be consistent and transparent. Logical consequences are effective when you begin by explaining them to the child and follow through consistently.
If you do not clean up the blocks, I'm going to take them away.
Parents should give children a warning and a brief period of time, such as 3 to 5 seconds, to follow the direction. Counting silently to yourself can help you determine how long to wait. If you don't put your toy away, I am going to take it away. Once the time has passed, give a second explanation and follow through.
You did not clean up the blocks like I told you, so now I'm taking them away.
Consistency and predictability are important. Always follow through with what you say you are going to do. If you don't, your child will not learn that you mean what you say and will be less likely to follow your directions in the future. Another strategy is to remove privileges. This technique can be useful when it is difficult to use other strategies or for when your child is refusing to complete timeout. In preparing to use this strategy, you should consider what privileges might be removed ahead of time. It's important that you think about which privileges your child will work to keep, what privileges are motivating to the child, and which of these privileges are practical for you to take away. One rule is to never remove scheduled parent-child playtime. It is even more important to have scheduled playtime on days when children's behaviors are difficult and parents' patience is low. This provides an opportunity, even when other things have gone wrong during the day, to have that positive interaction and maintain your strong relationship with your child. Removing a privilege will also be less effective if the privilege itself doesn't happen often enough to be used immediately or soon after the problem behavior occurs. Young children will be more likely to make the link between their behavior and losing the privilege if these two events occur close together. The same day works best. It is also important to focus on removing privileges only for a short time. For young children, losing a privilege for a brief period of time, and at most for the remainder of the day, is enough to be effective. This also allows them to have a fresh start on behaving differently sooner. As with other consequences, it's important to give the child a warning before removing a privilege. If you do not stay in the timeout place, you will not be able to watch TV after dinner tonight. When you remove the privilege, remind the child of why they lost the privilege. You did not stay in timeout, so there is no TV tonight. As with other approaches, consistency and predictability are key. Once you have imposed a consequence or removed a privilege, it is important to follow through so that your child knows you mean what you said. And don't forget, once you have addressed a misbehavior with a consequence, then it's time to go back to giving your attention to positive behaviors. You can go right back to all the positive parenting skills you've learned. Communicate, play, praise, support, and enjoy your child. After watching the strategy video with the parent, it's time to prepare for using the skills at home.
Now that you've spent a great deal of time talking with the parent about their child's behaviors and various strategies for managing them, you can reflect on which behaviors and situations would be appropriate for the use of these last strategies. Using the worksheet, have the parent list behaviors for which they could use logical consequences or removal of privileges. Help them identify which privileges are motivating for their child, and whether removing these privileges would work well as a consequence. Are the privileges things that happen often enough that removing them would be close enough to the behavior to be effective? Next, conduct a role-play session with the parent to practice the steps of using these consequences as they were presented in the strategy video. First, take the role of the parent yourself and model the strategy skills for the parent, going through each step: the original direction, the warning, and the consequence. Debrief with the parent. What did they notice? What did they feel? Do they have questions or concerns? Then switch roles and have them practice both consequences with you playing the role of the child. Give them gentle feedback and opportunities to practice trying until they are comfortable. Before ending the strategy session, help the parent look ahead to using the skills at home. For which behaviors or situations will they use these skills? Present the strategy handout to the parent and use the space provided for notes and planning. Remember to always finish the strategy session by helping the parent anticipate what may be hard about practicing the skills on their own at home, and troubleshoot with them about how to overcome these difficulties. Reminding parents that they can always refer to their handouts, that they will be able to debrief with you in the coming session, and that new skills always take practice, are all different ways you can support parents as they prepare for trying the new skills at home.